find my peace.
Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. This morning we continue to discuss International Women's Day and how we celebrate it, how we commemorate it, and how we help the next generation to move forward. This morning I want to welcome the principal of QRC, Mr. David Simon, as well as the president of the QRC PTA and the She's Royal Committee member, Mrs. Esther Callender-George. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Or should I say welcome back? Because you've been here before.
Yes.
All right, so we're getting ready for International Women's Day tomorrow. And I know that you guys are celebrating in fine style. But before we get into the celebration, I want to get a recap of She's Royal. What is the committee all about? Why was it started in the first place?
Right, so She's Royal is the brainchild of Mr. Simon, actually. After witnessing or observing violence against girls, particularly, I believe it was a passing Francois student who would have been killed by her partner. Right? Out of that, he saw the need to have that, that interest or so, awareness raised among the young men. And of course, he put together a committee to more or less help the young men and support the young men in bringing awareness to gender-based violence.
Mr. Simon, would you say that committee has done the work that you've set out? So far, so good?
I think it has surpassed our greatest expectations. What we attempted to do is to have our young men be aware of gender-based violence and the role that we can play as an all-male institution. I think their acceptance of their roles has been really great. Corporate TNT has expressed some interest, but certainly the media has played a significant role in assisting us to get that message across. And it is something that we do in collaboration with different schools. So previously we'd have worked with Bishops, Providence, and now we're having some girls from St. James Secondary in what we plan tomorrow. So I would say it has surpassed our greatest expectations.
Nice. And you've been here before chatting about this. I think last year we were here discussing what you were going to do last year. Tell me the difference in this year's celebration and commemoration.
Well, I don't see it really as a difference. I see it as part of a continuum.
Right.
It is something that we have done, we have incorporated into our curriculum. We are getting the young men to think more and more about the roles that they have to play as men in that fight against gender-based violence. One of the issues we had to deal with is that, of course, some of our young men at some point in time felt that there isn't enough focus on them. But we were able to bridge that gap and cross that little hurdle that we had with our young men, because we had to get them to understand that to be able to appreciate anybody else and to assist anybody else, you have to appreciate yourself first and work on yourself.
Right.
So that they accepted that. And it is really a program that is deeply entrenched in every aspect of the school.
All right, so they work on themselves, and now we have, this year we present, the theme for International Women's Day this year is DigitALL, which is basically innovation and technology for gender equality. How do we plan to broach this theme with the gentlemen?
So it falls in nicely with the gender-based violence awareness initiatives, in the sense that now the young men are going to have a panel and discuss how technology can be used to promote awareness of gender-based violence, how it is used in gender-based violence, as well as, discuss different strategies and how they are incorporating their female counterparts in more or less in the fight, fight for awareness.
Now, I know that especially in the time that we live in 2023, everybody have a smartphone. I'm sure most of the boys in school come into school with their phones. I don't know if they're allowed to use them or not, but they would be coming to school with their phones. So we have technology quick like that, right? So everybody's digital. Everybody has the ability to go online, to go live. We've been seeing an increase in school fights. We're seeing random children doing porn-type videos, and we've been seeing all sorts of things. So which aspects of it are we going to be tackling in particular? Is it all, or is it going to be focused?
Well, that depends on the moderator and what the kids will say, right? But the name of what we are doing is technology and gender-based violence. So that is the panel discussion that we're going to be having tomorrow. It's going to be moderated by Mr. Sajid Hussain, who is in fact of IDGS from UE, and he is a postgrad gender studies student. So he is the person who will be leading that discussion along with some gentlemen from Queen's Royal College and some young ladies from Providence and St. James Secondary School. The direction, we like to leave it always up to the youths. So the direction that it is going to take will be, and that's what we love about it, we want to listen as well to see how they think. Because how they think is different from how we think. So I can't really even say which direction it's going to go. I can say what are the general topics, how their minds tick. Is going to be interesting as we sit and listen to them tomorrow. But certainly the use of technology is very significant. I just want to address one thing that you said though, that sort of concerns me. When I was young going to school, there were many fights as well, you know. The big difference is that we have nothing to broadcast anything. You know, so that is something for another discussion. But
no, I was just bringing it up in terms of the technology and how we use the technology now, because like I agree, when I was going to school, they had plenty of fights, but nobody was recording because you had no camera phone back then to be able to say you're going to put it up on the internet or broadcast it for anybody to see. But now we see it so much more prevalent because we are able to show everybody what's going on at all times. So all the things that we thought weren't happening in schools, or people may have thought weren't happening in schools,
people are now seeing
them. So how do we deal with that, especially using technology? Is there a way that we can use the same technology for good?
Well, the technology is being used for good. The answer to that, the answer is simple. Achieving it may be difficult because the answer is through education. We need to educate not only our young people, but even our adults. We see adults engaging in activities with the use of technology that is unwise. So the answer is in education. We educate our population, but it's going to be a lot more difficult to be able to execute that.
Mrs. Callender-George, as the president of the PTA, would you have gotten any reports from parents in terms of the difference in their children between when this initiative would have started to now?
Well, I can speak as a parent.
Well, you can speak as yourself as well,
So actually, not to spill too much, but my son actually looking at using gender-based violence as a topic now for one of his SPs, because of the impact that he has seen, you know, on his peers as well, and the constant conversations amongst the teachers, the students, his peers. They usually meet and they talk. It definitely has made an impact, I'd say a positive impact.
And in their private time, they talk in gender-based violence stuff?
I mean, not all the time.
Well, I know I think it'll be all the time.
But it is a discussion that has come up. You know, what was shocking to me is that he's not a person that speaks a lot. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, all right. So it definitely is making an impact across the young men.
Well, that's good to hear, because I often wonder about these things, you know, when we have these sessions and, you know, you might do it in the session, but how much does it resonate after the session is what's important. And I think that if we're able to measure it and say, well, yeah, I've seen the change, like you've seen the change personally, then we definitely know that it's certainly working. And when is it happening? You wanted to say?
Oh, one other thing that we did notice was around Carnival time, QRC had their student party.
Right.
And students actually came forward in terms of giving advice as to how to treat the young women at the party. Spoken word was done at assembly. So it's a constant, you know, involvement of them, and they are conscious of it with different events as well.
Essentially, is a changing of the culture.
It is. If you remember when we were speaking last year, we spoke about our young men being positive agents of change. And that is the whole idea, to have something like this increase the awareness of the youths, not only the youths, but Trinidad and Tobago. And we can start here. So yes, the idea is to bring about positive change by focusing on the issues. If the youngsters are able to concentrate on what are some of the challenges, they can come up with creative solutions. I think we sometimes do not place a lot of faith in them, but I've spent my life around these young individuals, so I have a lot of faith in them, and we need to recognize they have the solutions. We are on our way out.
I wish you would say that louder for some people in administrative positions, you know, managerial positions, etc. But I do applaud the work that you've been doing and the work that you continue to do. Tell me the details about when it's happening tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow it takes place in our college's hall. It's from 11:40 to 12:40. And as I said, the topic is gender-based violence. Well, technology and gender-based violence.
Is there any way for the public to view or maybe a live stream or anything like that?
We are looking at the possibility of having a Facebook stream.
And if we have to find it, where would be the social media links?
It's She's Royal at Queen's Royal College on Facebook.
She's Royal at Queen's Royal
Yes,
College.
Queen's Royal. If you want to look for the handle, it's at She's Royal QRC.
Okay. At She's Royal QRC. That'll be on IG?
That would be, not as yet, but we are getting there.
All right. So that's what you have it on Facebook for now.
It's on Facebook for now, yes.
All right, great. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for the work that you're doing, and thank you for joining us to share with us this morning. And please continue and check in whenever you're ready again.
Well, we wanna say thank you to TTT. TTT has been a great supporter, you know, for this particular initiative and other initiatives of the college. And it's very pleasing to me, because when I was a youngster, TTT was the center of my world. It was the only television station they could look at. So I really do applaud the work that you continue to do.
Thank you.
With your rebirth.
Thank you very much. All right, guys, we take a quick break and we come back with more Inside the Now Morning Show. We're going to continue these conversations, but when we come back, we have your birthdays and so much more. Stick around.
So many wish but never reach.